Today it's all about how I actually make my drops hit harder, sound nicer, and some tips along the way how you can achieve the same.
You don't have to stay.
Hey guys, welcome to the vlog. It's a beautiful Sunday in my hometown Düsseldorf. I could spend the entire day here at the beach, but as you know, I just prefer spending the day in the harbor, just of course to spend it in my studio. No one in the office, so I can just stay here in the studio, work on the album, on another album track for the entire day. There's just one problem. I'm completely stuck on one of those songs on the drop. I made a drop, but it doesn't really sound good. Let me maybe play it to you really quick. So yeah, that sounds really weak. I just started with the musical ideas. The vocals are already in there. They're perfect. Kick, bass kind of works. And like the rest, the layers, the melody is cool, but like it's not mixed. It's not the right sound. There are a lot of problems, and that's why the drop doesn't work. And whenever I have the feeling a drop doesn't work, I actually go back to figuring out which parts are the ones that cause the problem. And like muting tracks. For example, if I now start muting all of the main synthesizers and just leave kick and bass in there, it starts to work a lot better. So I know the problem is somewhere in the main synthesizer sounds. I have 4 layers, that's maybe too much. Maybe they're not EQ'd properly, maybe they're not the right sounds, maybe it's not even the right melody. So I've definitely to rework that part and try to make something entirely new. I think the kick is safe because it sounds really good. The bass, could also be improved. So yeah, let me actually try and replace these parts. I think a huge tip is definitely also a drop should be minimal. If it's too crowded, it just doesn't work because you have to build up with all of the noise, all of the rising parts, like everything is opening up and it's really huge and big. And then the drop should be minimal. It should be bass heavy to have as much contrast as possible. And also so that you have time again after the drop to build up the track again. If you drop into a lot of elements, there's not much you can actually add to it. So I would always try and go for club music, at least, with a minimal drop. Also, just kick and bass should work by themselves. If they don't, it's the wrong kick, it's the wrong bass. Change those two until it fits. Don't do any fancy EQing. Yes, maybe a little bit of low cutting on the bass, maybe a little bit of side chaining onto the bass to have that pumpy feel and have room for the kick. But it should then already start working and sound amazing like all of the other producers' released tracks. If it doesn't, then it's the wrong kick, wrong bass. Just try and find new samples, parts, synthesizer sounds, presets. I don't know why, but a lot of beginners get that wrong. They just choose something that kind of sounds okay and that is like their best option. Then they try to make it fit. But this doesn't work in music production. The key is to find things that already fit by themselves. It's like, I don't know, you don't marry a woman that you hate and that is like nuts and you try to make her into what you want. It doesn't work. Just get a girl that fits immediately. Today you're really learning a lot of lessons. I think I finally got to a point where it just sounds a lot better. I replaced the bass sound, made it like 2 layers, 1 sub layer, 1 top layer. The top layer crunchy, added an attack to have like really like the start of the bass audible. I also, because I couldn't come up with a synthesizer, I don't know, like all of them sounded either very progressive housey, old school, trancey, like it just didn't fit to that modern kind of vocal and the approach that I'm having with this album. So I started chopping up vocals, not pitched chopped up vocals, just like normal standard chopped vocals, and try to create something on top of the drop that makes sense, that is kind of repetitive, but maybe also a little bit catchy, but not too melodic, to still keep it clubby and groovy. So yeah, let me play it to you. Let's see what you guys think of this. A lot better, very minimal, everything is in there that is needed. It's also very important to make the drop hit harder, to have contrast between the break and the drop. So of course the break usually builds up, has a lot of noise in it, is very wide. You cut out the low end to make the impact of the bass and the kick that then hits on the drop again a lot harder, just by having the contrast. And also of course in volume you need that contrast. That was something that was definitely before wrong. Like the break was actually louder than the drop, and this should actually never be the case. But I also started like trying out different top layers, because as it is, it's fine, but maybe a little bit boring. And to push the song a little more, make it sound faster, I added, yeah, I'm trying things out. I got here 5 layers, and I'm not sure which one of them actually to pick. So it's your call. It's now your time to tell me what I should do, because I think all of them kind of work. First one is a little like ravey top layer. Second one is similar, also ravey, but a little lower. That nice bendy kind of sound. Third one, I think that one was trancey. No, it's actually very similar to the 2 other ones, so I will just delete it. Third one, I think this one's the trancey one. I mean, the melody is nice, but this makes the drop kind of cheesy, boring. I don't really need that. The sound is horrible. I just try to find a good melody. The melody is fine, but I don't know, it just doesn't work. I think I will also delete this one actually. So now the new third one. Yeah, same problem here. I will keep it and try to find a sound that makes it kind of sound good, because the sound is weak. The preset or like whatever I tweak this, it just doesn't work. It's also like just like making the entire drop muddy. If you listen to it with it and without it, it's like a day and night difference. I mean, when the melody is in there, your brain focuses on the melody and is starting like to process it, which distracts from it just banging. So yeah, I think the minimal approach and maybe one of those 2 ravey kind of layers, maybe on the second or third drop. So let me know, the first sound that is ravey or the second one. One last bonus tip: as minimal your drop should actually be, have like a little bit of ambient in the background, just like not really noticeable, only that you actually hear it when you mute it, that you hear that it's gone. But this could be white noise, this could be like a field recording stuff, maybe a synthesizer pad in the background, just something. It helps to glue everything together. This way it sounds minimal but not empty. And also don't forget your reverbs, they also glue everything together. But I think that's now really it for today. I will grab a beer out of the fridge and maybe head over to the beach just like for an hour or two.
You don't have to stay.